I didn't have a purpose, like apart from caring for my kids. I was like, I have big dreams, but what are they? Like, where are they gone? I got myself an RTD therapist. I said, you know what, that's my next step. And that made me believe that, wow, like just one session can change that. Damn. I'm Meghna Sharma. I was born and raised in Bombay. I think growing up, I was always fascinated by Bollywood. And my big dream was to do something related to it. I remember telling myself, if I can't be in front of the camera, I will be behind the camera. And that's how I ended up doing my major bachelor's in advertising. I majored in advertising. And very quickly, I started working with all the big advertising agencies in Bombay, working on some big brands with Bollywood stars. So I made it happen in the level I could. I was known nationally for being the multicultural expert. I worked with the Indian and Chinese market. So it was good overall. I've been in Canada for the past 20 years and I call it home. I got married. I moved from Toronto to Vancouver. And that's when things changed. I felt like a big identity crisis happening because I was stripped of my job. I had to quit. I really went through a really low phase where I was questioning my identity, was not happy with who I was because I felt like, oh, am I just a mother, which is a very fulfilling job. But I knew I had big things to do in life. I just knew it. And I was struggling with finding out what it is. Like I didn't have a purpose, like apart from caring for my kids. I was like, who is this girl? Is this all that she's going to do all her life? Like I have big dreams, but what are they? Like, where are they gone? I had no answers to all this. That's when my journey to explore started and I chanced upon Marisa Peer. I was on a flight to London with my husband. He watched an episode of Diary of a CEO and he told me that, hey, you know what? I think you're going to love this. She's very fascinating. You should watch this. I was like, if he has said that to me, it means something because he knows me really well. He wouldn't recommend something that I would not care about. And I watched it. And I was like, damn. And then I came back. I remember the next morning, I Googled what RTT was. I read about it. I was very, very fascinated about it. And then I said, okay, what's the next step? I, of course, I didn't even know she had a course so that I could become an RTD therapist. I was just fascinated by her and how she was describing the mind. And I've always been interested in like the subconscious and the mind. I got myself an RTD therapist. I said, you know what? That's my next step. I'm going to go to an RTD therapist, see if this is any good. So I reached out, and her name is Signy Nutson in Vancouver. And I had a brilliant session with her. I remember the first session was for procrastination. And I was like, I love making these lists of all these items, but I never seem to tick off anything. There's definitely some problem here. And surprisingly, before I could finish the 21 days recording, I was hitting every single thing that I wrote down on my list. And that made me believe that, wow, like just one session can change that. Because I'm such a logical person, I was like, let me see how long it lasts. So I gave myself another 2 months and I was like, does it die off because of after the 21 days, I'm not listening to the recording? And no, it didn't. Till it's 1 year now. And I'm still so proud when I look at my, to-do list. I'm like, oh, wow, I did at least 8 on 10, which is like fantastic for someone who would barely do 2 or 3. So it really worked. I went back for another session to find my purpose in life. She took me into hypnosis and she asked me a lot of questions. And that's when I realized what gave me happiness was actually putting a smile on people's faces. Like it really made me feel good. And my friends always came to me for it. Always. I truly wanted to become a therapist and I wanted to do RTT. And I was hearing all these answers from within as if I had like someone telling me, that's what you're meant to do. Like that's your freaking calling. You finally found the code to this box. I remember that session was April 10th. April 12th, I signed up for RTT. My online journey was phenomenal. I decided in April that I'm going to finish all my exams by December. November 30th, I gave my knowledge assessment and I scored a 94%. So it is absolutely fascinating. And the way the content is broken down, it is so simple, yet so profound. And especially for people who are not from the therapy background, like me, like corporate background, it just made everything so easy. And during this process, the best part was I did connect with a lot of students who have done other courses. Each one of them said they've never seen anything like this. So thorough, so well organized, and the best part is the immense support. It is so important because there are going to be moments during the course where you feel overwhelmed. There are going to be moments in the course where you feel like clueless or demotivated. But this family picks you up like none other will. Every single person is a cheerleader here, and it's the best feeling ever. Can you believe that every virtual classroom I attended was 2 a.m. to 6 a.m.? And it didn't matter. It didn't matter. It didn't matter that I was up at night because I loved it. I loved it. Did I have the choice to do it at a later time? Yeah, they did give me choices of like picking a time zone that worked better for me, but it was just a little later and I couldn't wait. And that's why I chose doing all my virtual classrooms from 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. And I loved it. I loved it. This is the last part of my journey. I'm at RTT Live. And I did ask them, I said, hey, you know what? I've done the course. So will I still find this insightful? Will I still find this, interesting enough? Because I know that there are students who are in the earlier parts of the course and they find it extremely valuable. The answer is yes. Even if you are an RTT online graduate, I highly recommend that you come, experience the sessions here, the activities here, the interaction with the trainers. There's like a motherly warmth to all of them. And everyone's so like approachable and definitely like so gifted and learned in their craft and skill. But at no point in, the session will you ever feel that you're not enough. And that is just amazing because you're actually in the presence of some of the best therapists in the world. And for you to stand in that environment and still feel, even I can do it, that's amazing. And I feel like that is the power of the RTT crew. I want to work and niche with people with high visibility and people who are famous and people who are in the spotlight every single day of their life, to help people who have anxiety because of the fame, to help people who have depression because of the fame or because of lack of fame. Suddenly when the fame's taken away from you, how you react to it, help them cope with that. And it might also be linked with my interest in Bollywood. Still being there somewhere inside, I'm like, I want to help people in Bollywood. And it's just like a full circle, right? So I was like, okay, not in front of the camera, not behind the camera, but behind their mind. Isn't that phenomenal? Isn't that phenomenal? So yeah, that's my big dream. You have the power. You have the power to achieve anything, the craziest thing in this world. And you also have the power to destroy yourself. So pick wisely. Know that your mind is extremely powerful. And if you put it and use it in the right way, it can help you achieve anything you want. Believe in yourself. What's next? Changing the world one session at a time, buddy. That's what's next.